Good morning. This is Chris the Old Guy, and today is part two of the 1985 Topps that I thought we'd try to finish it up. Get a close glimpse, see what we have in it. This is 200 to 300, so we're going to go from 201 to 213. Billy Gardner, George Wolfowitz, Clay Christensen, Gary Matthews, Bill Campbell, Chad Summers. I seen him play at the Chiefs Stadium years ago. Mark Clear, Phil Garner, Steve Rogers, Art Howe. That's Gordie Howe's son, if I remember right. Bob McClure, Gorman Thomas, Bert Hutton, I don't know how to say that name. Mike Brown, Brian Little, Mike Stanton, Lonnie Smith, Pete Volkovich. This is 258 to 214. Sid Bream rookie, Dan Ford, Brad Golden, Jesse Orozco, Harold Baines, Terry Forster, Wayne Tolson, Mike Morris, Chili Davis, Mike Jones, Roberto Gelby, Greg Harris, Jim Frey, Dave Stieb, Tim Tuffle, Jose Rijo, Julio Franco. This is Julio Franco's technically second year. Mark Thurman, Gary Maddox, Jerry Marin, Ed Jurak, Dave Beard, Dwayne Murphy, Gary Carter playing for the Expos, David LaPointe, Deion James, Danny Darwin, Juan Beniquez, Mike Boddicker. I'm checking on the back to see if they have any, if it's a rookie. Al Cowens, Tim Hume, Hubie Brooks. All the rookies on Cardboard Connection, you could probably see what they look like from the set. And you can transfer the fathers and sons, the lineage tree, if I remember looking at it, if you're collecting them. I don't know much about it because I don't collect them, but I do have a few. Ron Reed, Fred Lynn, Gerald Perry, Doyle Alexander, Leon Roberts, Jerry Don Gleaton, Bob Brenly, and John Tudor. And that's number 214. So, lastly, we have 300 to 259. This is Rob Carew at 300. Andy Hawkins, Marty Barrett, Gary Lucas, Rick Nelson, Joe Niekro, playing for the Astros, Tim Nealto, Kurt Young, Brad Kamenetz, Bob Welch, Cecil Cooper, Tom Underwood, Jeff Kunkel, Walt Terrell, second year, Rudy Law, Darren Dreisen, Marty Bresson, Frank Mullins. And then this is the draft picks. Abner, Belcher, Don Dunston, Mike Moore, Darryl Strawberry, 1980 draft pick, Al Chambers, Bob Horner, Harold Baines, 1977 draft pick, Lloyd Bannister, Bill Allman, Jeff Burrows, Tim Foley, 1968 draft pick, Dan Quisenberry, Doug Baker, Chuck Tanner, Henry Cotto, Frank Viola. This might be Viola's, nope, this is Viola's third year. Juan Sambito, Mel Hall. Port Byron native, played Port Byron High School baseball. Greg Boker, checklist. Dave Rigetti, third year. Gary Ellenson. The only reason why I know about Mel Hall is my coach played against him in high school baseball. He was a trainee coach at the time. Got to see him play. And we played against his coach in the league that I was playing in when I was a kid. Okay, and this is going to be 366 to 400. And this is 301 to 365. And I guess I'm going to show these cards one more time if anyone hasn't seen them. This is 181, 401, 403, 536, 665, and 620 and 627. These are the main core of the players in the sets. Davis, Gooden, Mattingly, Puckett rookie, Snyder, McGuire, and Clemens. The reason why I got this set, those core set cards. Without further delay, let's do 301 to 365. Danny Ozark, manager. Richard Dodson, Greg McKerney, Alfredo Griffin, Steve Carlton, Pat Sheridan, Tony Pena, Rich Brody, Dave Muir, Bert Bylevin, Andrew Robertson, Julio Solano, Joe Morgan playing for the A's, Juan Augusto, Wade Boggs, third year, Domingo Ramos, Bob Boone, Brett Boone's father, Rick Langford, Terry Pendleton, Charlie Lee, Dave Henderson, Bill Russell, Ted Power, Floyd Rainford, Robin Yount, Danny Heat, Brent Burns, Billy Sample, Rance McCollins, Bruce Benedict, Dick Hauser, Willie Hernandez, Brian Harper, Bill Lasky, Leon Durham. Leon wasn't on assignment in the league where the Sky Chiefs / previous Mets. We got to see them play. Their Cubs team played an interleague game exhibition many years ago against the Chiefs. Ron Washington, Bob Shirley. I say we, a good friend of mine from high school, and myself and his parents, Brooke Jacoby, Kevin Bass, Donnie, John Denny, Rich Bocci, player, Andy McGaffigan, David Stapleton, Rick Norton, Dale Murphy. I had some friends in high school that collected specific players, and this was one of them. Jim collected Murphy, Jeff Jones, Ted Simmons, Jack Larasco, John Lovenstein, Doug Sisk, Ron Oster, Dave Schmidt, Mark Hill, Jim Gott, Manny Trio, Mike Witt. This is the brother of Bobby Witt's father, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I could be. It's not his father. His father's card is in the 87 set. John Wathan, Sparky Anderson, Rick Russell, Dale Barra, Gary Gaetti, Mike Jeffcoat, Tim Corcoran, and John Malesko. So this is 366 to 400. 400, ODB McDowell, John Mazzarano, Shane Mack, John Halver, Gary Green, Mike Dunn, Jeff Kafsky, Scott Blankard, Don August, Floyd Alfaro, Sid Atkins, Rod Dedu. I can't say that. Yeah, Dedu. Bert Roberts, Buddy Bonecchio, Buddy Biancalanena, Dan Gladden, Jose De Leon, Jody Davis, Rick Lysander, Denny Walling, Roy Smith, Ken Griffey playing for the Yanks, Ken Griffey's father, Charles Hudson, Alan Wiggins, checklist 265, 396, Jeff Newman, Jeff Reardon, Brian Downing, Mike Moore, Roy Howell, Ricky Mickey Rivers, Bruce Sutter. Good player. Just passed away just recently. Wow. R.J. Reynolds, Dave Bergman, Keith Cato, Todd Cruz. And in the Olympic cards, obviously, the two of them, Corey Snyder, 403, and Mark McGwire, 401. So that's 200 and 300. So now we're going to do 400s. I'd like to take the time to thank everyone watching the video. We'll go through the cards quick. Like I said, this was my second favorite set next to the 1987 top set, which is in my opinion, one of the greatest sets of all time. It's just unfortunate that it's overproduced and it's worth really practically nothing. The 85 set, this was my parents and I helped pay for it for a birthday present. It was $88 at the time, so, and it was booking under CCP at 110, I think it was, years ago. You can pick it up for, I think, 150, low end, high end 300. So let's see here. 499 to 466, and 401 to 465. So we'll do 401 to 465. Bob Grich, Mike Mason, Dave Collins, Gary Lavelle, Mari Caso, Ryan Sandberg. Not a bad condition card of Sandberg. Charlie Liebert, Randy Johnson, Cecil Aguante, Tim Foley, Bob Nepper, Gino Wassim, Glenn Wilson, Tom Waddell, John Castino, Bruce Hurst, Steve Garvey, Phil Bradley, Daryl Thomas, Jeff Lathy, Jim Sundberg, Tippy Martinez, Tony Phillips, George Wright, Ken Forrest, Dwayne Walker, Fernando Valenzuela, Junior Ortiz, Joe Torre, Al Jones, Willie Aikens, John Perry, Gene Richards, Jim Morrison, Thad Bosley, U.L. Washington, Ron Davis, Rick Cerrone, Larry Anderson, Mario Ramirez, Vern Rule, Mike Hargrove, Al Nipper, Barry Bonnell, Carney Langford, Dave Rooker, Andre Dawson. Mike Cladwell, Ken Lannero, John Franco, Wayne Gross, Ron Darling, Rookie, Gary Ward, Vance Law, Bud Black, Bob Horner, Brad Wellman, Sid Monroe, Bobby Ramos, Len Whitehouse, Tom Versever, and Billy Swift, and Pat Pasillo. So this is 466 to 499. Danny Cox, Ramiro, Gary Pettis, Donnie Scott, Mario Soto. This could be the uncle or the father of Soto. I don't know. Rich Dauer, Oral Hershiser rookie, Dave Johnson, Rick Camp, Jason Thompson, Ryan Clark, Joel Skinner, Frank Williams, Steve Balboni, Matt Young, Larry Boa, Mike Smithson, Harry Spillman, Dale Murray, Lou Whitaker, Mike Madden, Kurt Bevacqua, Bobby Ojeda, Jeff Stone, Andre Thornton, Tim Wallach, Jim Eisen, Pete Ladd, Steve Sachs, Sammy Stewart, Wayne Kranowski, Ed Lynch, and Tony La Russa. This could be the debut year of La Russa as a manager. I'm not sure, but I believe so. 85, 84 was his rookie year of managers. Give me a quick second. I'm just putting the cards in order again. So let's see here. So with 536 being the next card, Kirby Puckett on the case class. We're doing 500 through 566 right here. $567 through $599. I think I'm going to sleeve all my cards. That's one of my things I'm going to do. Sleeve every single one of them, especially the ones that are worth some cash. The dealer that I bought this set from paid, how much did he pay for a case? I believe he paid, he told me the story, it was less than $250, I think it was, or whatever, and he got, 12 boxes, and this was a fresh set that he made. He made a total of 6.5 sets, and I bought one, I reserved it. Ed Weinberg, Kurt Gibson, Alan Ashby, Dick Ruthven, Houston Jimenez, Daryl Motley, Bill Matlick, Jay Howler, Carmelo Martinez, Len Baker, Cisco Lesenko, Bob Stanley, Doug Lynn, Bob Clark, Chris Corelli, Andy Van Slyke, second year, Scott McGregor, Mike Sosha, Larry Parrish, Pete Rose is the manager. Pete Rose has got 2 cards in this set. Brent Caff, Lloyd Mosby, Bruce Kyson. Let's see if, yeah, this is his manager card. This is kind of like the 87 and 86 set, because he was the manager. Brett Caff, Lloyd Mosby, Bruce Kyson, Mike Squires, Don Slaught, Mark Davis, Claudel Washington, Ariel Lopez, Keith Moreland, Don Robinson, Pat Putman, Brian Dayett, Tony Bernazard, Frank DePino, Joe Labrethi, Dave Trebecki, Rich Gedman, Bill Kruger. Checklist 397, 528. That's 527. Dave Palmer, Daryl Porter, Rob Wilfone, Candy Malinano, Paul Molitor, Rick Dempsey, Lamar Hoyt, Doug Radar, Chris Chambliss, Jerry Martin, Roy Lee Jackson, Dave Conception, Lynn Jones, Tom Brokens, Lee Smith, Ken Herbeck, Milt May, John Shelby, Ray Fontenot, Franklin Stubbs, Jim Beatty, Jerry Willard, Tim Conroy, Rick Miller, Dan Scherzitter, and Mike Schmidt at 500. And then we're going to show again my favorite card from the set, which is Puckett's at 536. I'd like to thank the time for listening to old guy's words. I am just trying to keep the cards in order. Everyone should have a card tray. That's one of those must-haves, especially when you're sorting sets or going through sets. I'll tell you, when I buy factory sets, it's easy to sort quick like that. It's easy to sort pretty much anything. $600 to $656. $657 through, let's see here. When we get into the high numbers, I don't really have anything sleeved. Most of the real good cards was in the lower numbers. Of course, that's my opinion. You be the judge of it. So you got Donnie Moore, George Bell. I saw George Bell play for the Chiefs years ago. Onyx Conception, John Rabb, Rick Roden, Joe Carter, Tom Stoddard, Randy Bush, Dennis Remlison, Alan Trammell, Louis DeLeon, Len Marchesek, Bill Gullickson, Mike Easler, Bill Cadwell, Bill Doran, Whitey Herzog, Doug Corbett, Ben Olgaby, Jerry Rios, Bob Kearney, Joey McLachlan, Wally Backman, Albert Hall, Tony Perez, Atlee Hammaker, Buck Martinez, Juan Berenger, Dave Iorg, Tom Seaver playing for the Sox, Lee Lacey, Steve Trout, Dave Engel, Mike Lagasse, Steve Farr, Luis Agallo, Mike Heath, Steve Crawford, Tony Gwynn. There's one card I should sleeve. That's his third year. 529 to 660 is 658. Jim Slayton, it being 657. Chuck Cottier, Jacqueline Andujar, Dave Anderson, Mark Bayard, Browhard, you could say it both ways. Joe Nolan, Jeff Russell, Greg Lazinski, DH, Sid Fernandez, pitcher, Bob Jones, Rafael Jamirez, Scott Thompson, Demenzo Garcia, Mark Huseman, Johnny Grubb, Dave Owen, Rob Scurry, Steve Henderson, Ed Hodge, Mike Palgarullo, rookie, Brett Butler, Stain Rowley, Terry Kennedy, Bill Davey, Glenn Hoffman, Bruce Bochy, Bruce Boch, that's not Bochy, Bob Forsch, Tim Raines, also known as Rock Raines, Dick Schofield, Renee Lackman, German Rivera, Mark Langston, second year, Benny Elia, Greg Walker, Leo Marvis Foley, Jeff Leonard, Pete Falcone, Willie Wilson, Scott Sanderson, Marvell Wynn, Al Williams, Terry Pohl, Mike Armstrong, Ozzie Virgil, Jack Morris, Boderick Perkins, Craig Lefferts, Bill Allman, Rick Gale, Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, Daryl Soners, Rick Manning, Jeff Dedman, Tommy LaRusso, manager. Got a couple spots up here, but it's in good condition. Well, it's off-centered too. Pete Rose, first base and manager. That's his second-year card, or second card, not second-year card. That's a classic mistake on camera. That's his second card of the set. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. And then lastly but not least, we're going to do 700 to 792. So this is 700 to 745. 745, Buddy Bell, Doug Bear, Frank White, Ron Hassey, John Butcher, Jack Clark playing for the Giants, Ernie Calmaco, Omar Moreno, Bo Diaz, Jerry Murray, Derry Templeton, John Henry Johnson, Tony Scott, John McNamara, Neil Allen, Dave Kingman, Don Sutton, Bob Baylor, Frank Pastore, Al Bumbry, Floyd Bannister, Oscar Gamble, Dave Stewart, playing for the Texas Rangers. Here's the All-Stars, Bruce Sutter, NL All-Star, Bob Kepper, whatever you want to say, NL, Rick Sutcliffe, NL, Gary Carter, NL, Jeff Leonard, NL, Tony Gwynn, NL, Dale Murphy, NL, Ozzie Smith, NL, Mike Schmidt, NL, Ryan Sandberg, NL, Keith Hernandez, NL, Dave Quisenberry, AL, Frank Viola, AL, Mike Boddicker, AL, Larry Parrish, AL, Tony Aramis, AL, Ricky Henderson, AL, Dave Winfield, AL, Cal Ripken, AL, George Brett, AL, Domenzo Garcia, AL, Eddie Murray, AL, Eddie Murphy card, and 746 or 792. Here we go. Darrell Evans, Ivan DeJesus, Ron Guidry, Louis Salazar, Steve Comer, Jim Wolford, Enos Cabwell, Tony Aramis, 661 to 792, 794 checklist, Mike Jorgensen, Tig Niedenfuhr, Jim Ganter, Mike Flanagan, Nick Eske, Mike Davis, Ned Yost, Jerry Royster, Mookie Wilson, Dennis Lamp, Hal McRae, Johnny Lamister, Jeff Zan, Carlton Fisk. Beautiful picture of Carlton Fisk. Jeff Cowley, Ron Say, Darren Brown, Paul Mirabella, Willie Randolph. Wow. Jamie Easterly, Kiko Garcia, Eddie Winston, pitcher. Jerry Remy, Nolan Ryan. I should have this one sleeved. I'm going to come back to it and definitely sleeve it. It's in really good condition. Jim Fanning, Ray Burris, Willie McGee. This should be his first year card. Unless he's got a traded card from 84. Rob Pilcio, Ken Singleton, Larry Milbourne, Greg Brock, Bob Oswinko, Kelvin Chapman, Raleigh Fingers with that handlebar mustache, Julio Cruz, Lee Mazzelli, Alex Trevino, and Jim Clancy, Last card, 746. Now these cards have at the end. I mean, there's the stats for the player of Darryl, and then the amount of years that he's played, and then it says certain things like about the player's lineage or about sometimes there's trivia on the bottom of the cards from 85. It says his grandfather Dave Salazar pitched in the 20s and 30s. His mother played pro softball in the 40s and 50s. So there's something to know about Darryl. And then, like, say, for Buddy Bell, Buddy's wife's name is Gloria. The couple had 3 sons, David, Michael, Ricky, and 1 daughter, Christy Marie. Buddy grew up in baseball atmosphere with his father, former NL outfielder, 1950 through 64, Gus Bell. So there you go. There's a lot of interesting tidbits of the players from the sets. 700, let's see here. I'll pick out one of the All-Star cards and I'll just read it. Obviously, All-Star AL, Eddie Murray. But you have the 84 AL leaders, game-winning RBIs. It's the list of them. Eddie Murray is on top. And then random teams right there. Pat Sheridan playing for the Royals, Don Baylor, Yankees, and then it's Eddie Murray, NL All-Star first baseman, retired Grand Slam. Oh, I'm sorry, not retired. Belted Grand Slammer with 6 RBIs, including game-winning RBI in a 9-7 win in Boston. 6/19/84, hit Grand Slammer in a 6-2 win versus Royals, 7/7/84. So this is some real cool stuff if you get into the details of the set and bits and pieces of the history. Other than that, I mean, the Olympic teams, they've got their 83-84 season, and then they got how many games they played in USA Baseball. It's kind of interesting. I don't know all the rookies off in the set. I know most of the stars. You can look that stuff up on Cardboard Connection. I have some, I can't pronounce all the names correctly. I'm not perfect. The world's not perfect. But thank you for your time. That's the whole set. I may review a few bits and pieces of it, maybe later, I don't know. But again, thank you for the time, and I hope you enjoyed the video.